Hey, all you beautiful souls. LT here again on, I guess it's February 10th, for another episode of Learn Through Loving. Um, it's been 10 episodes, and so I thought I would go ahead and do just kind of like an update, for everything here in Sweden. I've been here for just over 2 months now. Um, so kind of wanted to just let some people know, what I've been up to, what I've been thinking, what I've been going through. Um, and especially for those of you that maybe just follow the podcast and don't follow any other social media or anything, give you some highlights and give you some, I don't know, good information hopefully. So it's been quite a fucking journey. I think the last time that I talked, I just kind of gave a brief history of my story, right, and let you guys know that I was doing things. So I obviously I'll start kind of at that point. I had a in October, like beginning of October, sold all my stuff, moved from Arizona, went over to California, Washington, Oklahoma, Ohio, and that's where I uploaded or that's where I recorded the first episode of this podcast. And yeah, so I was staying with my family there, super excited to, to move forward and to kind of fulfill this next stage of the journey. Leading up to this point, obviously there was like I had mentioned before, there's a lot of things that got me to here. But I kind of just knew I wanted to do something different, right? I didn't know what it was. I knew I'd had like a lot of I've always had like a shit ton of ideas, right? I've always had many different goals, many big picture things, and I kind of get lost in the details. Um, but I knew that I had closed off all these other paths, or these other paths have been closed off, however you want to look at it. And I knew that the next thing I had was this big foggy door that was Sweden, right? It was a place that I had visited before, a place that I had very dear friends, um, and some place that I always felt safe at, right? Some place I felt at home. And, that's something that I think when we hit adulthood, um, you get a little bit less and less. Like I've had tons of apartments. Obviously, I had a lot of unstable places I lived for a while. I've always had like the parents' house, but sometimes it doesn't feel like home, right? And I think that idea means different things to different people. So, um, yeah. So I just knew that this was the next place to be, right? This was the next place that I wanted to go, and it didn't really matter expectation wise how long I stay here, what I do from here. Like obviously did I have tons of plans and everything for here? Absolutely, right? I don't think we can be human unless we kind of look ahead to these things, but um I didn't get like married to any of those ideas, right? Especially with the uncertain times we have, right? I left uh Ohio right at the very beginning of December, which the election was still going on apparently. I got lost on all that stuff. Like as soon as I left the country, I had my mask on for the whole, you know, plane ride over here. That was like, I don't know, 26, 28 hours, something like that. And then as soon as I got off the plane in Sweden, everyone just took off their masks and I haven't worn one since. Um, Obviously I haven't been going to like any fucking crazy raves or parties or anything like that, but just going to the grocery store, walking around town. There are people that do wear masks here, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think everybody's uh, I don't think it's a bad thing, but there's not the same panic here. There's not the same fear, and I've talked about that in some of the podcasts. That's the biggest thing I felt was this relief. This because for the last like 9 months before that, it had been this panic mode. Everything's bad. Stay away from people. Blah blah. All these fucking things, and it was so nice to just like wow. No one seems to really be worried about that here. Their media isn't constantly throwing at them like, "Oh, today's the worst day ever again." Again, there's the most deaths from COVID. Again, all these things. And yeah, I mean, I know that there's places that it is that bad, right? And I hope I'm not being mistaken as somebody that's like, "Oh, it's not that." Like, I do think it's a thing, but I think that I think there's a lot that we have control over, and I don't think that just focusing on the problem and doing nothing about it or I'm not even gonna get into to all that. That's that's a whole different thing, way above my pay grade. And everybody's gonna think whatever they think anyway, and I honor that. And I always just kind of want to. I never want to be unsafe. I want people to be protected, um, and happy and comfortable. Right. That's always my intention. It just so happens here, a lot of people think that more similarly that we can still do normal things, just try to avoid the things that are really risky. Um, so that was the first thing. As soon as I step off the plane, no more mask. The family that I see, they meet me in the airport. I get big hugs, and I walk out, and the first thing I do is take a shower when I get back here, and I get to see their new place, and everybody's here, and I feel so welcome, you know. And and then I'm adjusting to living in this new space. You can kind of see some of the room. It's basic. I don't need much, you know. I've gotten by on minimal stuff for my life, and that's kind of the point, you know. I'm not trying to. I want to be able to continue moving, right? I don't necessarily want to make this my, you know, forever place. I don't know what that looks like. I kind of want to. I have the idea of seeing, more things, more places, meeting more people, and before I figure out where I really want to set up a home base, you know. And I already got, I already did the big part where I got rid of my old home base, so I'm kind of at liberty to do that. Um, so just been, I could, I could go over like every single day here. The first month that I got here, I kind of was just like, all right, decompress. That's more like vacation mode, right? Like, obviously I did things, but more just kind of getting settled, getting over jet lag, figuring out where my place is in this household and here, and getting used to everything. And I already met like great people. I talked about the neighbor a few times. I met some other people here. I have a couple families here that I can go bounce between their houses for meals and, conversation and stuff. And I started doing some good routines as far as being more active. I'm around people that are trying to be physically active. So there's literally woods. Like if you walk outside of here, you can see the woods from the house. So getting over there and then just going for runs in the woods. It's a little different than Arizona for like hiking trails, at least here, in the Stockholm area. But they do a good job of having a lot of, I don't know, just like wooded areas. Like they don't use miles over here, but it's probably a good like, I don't know, 5 or 10 square mile woods over there. So it's plenty, plenty of running trails and walking, and then, on the other side of that, there's more city, more apartments and stuff. So it's really cool. There's actually Viking ruins there, like carved Viking things from 800 plus years ago that they used these woods and left markers to navigate through them. Obviously a lot's been cut down, but just little things like that don't exist really, right? In the US, at least not in Arizona. Obviously we have like petroglyphs and different things Native Americans left, but it's not very common. And maybe it's not that common here. Who knows? I haven't seen the whole country. It's pretty big. If you think like California, I'm just kind of right in the middle in like the LA area. There's obviously all these places to the north and the south and everything, and I look forward to hopefully seeing more of that. But that was kind of my December, right? Everything's kind of winded down. There's nothing I could really do as far as looking at extending my stay here or really anything. It's December, it's Christmas, it's all these things. We got snow on Christmas Day, which, fun fact for those of you, pretty much everybody that's from America, they celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve here. They still have Christmas Day, but that's more like their recuperate from all the partying you did on Christmas Eve. So then you spend Christmas Day just kind of chilling. But that's the day that it snowed, and we haven't not had snow since. So that they've had some like mild winters here, I guess, a couple years. And I told everyone when I got here that it was going to be it was going to be a legit winter, and it has been. I think it got down to Fahrenheit. It got down to like -7 or something like that last night, and I was actually I was walking home in it you know, wearing shorts like always, right? So, uh, yeah, that was actually the first time since I've been here that it was too cold for shorts. Which I had heard that from some other people in the US that lived in cold places. They said when it gets below zero, like below 0 Fahrenheit, that's when it's, it's a different level of cold, and that was I definitely definitely felt that. So won't be making that mistake again. I always learn from these things, but when it's just like, you know, in the 20s or something like that, it's fine because I'm never outside for more than, half hour or so. So I'm not stupid. I haven't gotten sick since I've been here. I guess fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever you want to do, but I do take care of myself as best as I can. So I've been doing physical activity, which has been great. It's been necessary for me to move my body. And let's see. That's been one thing. Christmas was great. It was good to see, what they kind of do here. Um, and it was cool the first time in my life I had a white Christmas, right? So then we do New Year's. New Year's was incredible. I never really do that much for New Year's, like, but we went out to the pier in downtown Stockholm, and I put a video on TikTok for that. Maybe I'll link that, but like coming from Arizona, so I don't know about anyone else from different states in the US. In Arizona, fireworks have been banned my whole life because we're a fucking desert and people are stupid and things can get lit on fire really easily. Obviously, you see the wildfires all the time every year in Arizona and California. So they do their best to try to minimize the risk of that. I still have my water bottles from the US, the classic Powerade ones. Um I've fun okay, I'm all over the place, but it doesn't matter. It's my fucking show, right? Uh I have left these at the gym twice, and both times they were still there. One time, my buddy had gone to work out later and he found it, and then other time I left it there and I was like, well, I'm not tied to it. If I lose it, it's fine. It's just a fucking water bottle. But I went back the next day and it was just where I left it. So I was like, yes. So I washed it out before I drank out of it and stuff. But no one here fucks with things. Dude, like, people leave their shoes. Like, when you walk into the gym, you just kick your shoes off at the front because that's how everybody enters buildings here and in a lot of Europe too, right? But you just put your shoes there and nobody thinks twice about it. There's no shoe bandits. There's no one taking all the shoes and going to Buffalo Exchange or, someplace like that and selling it. I mean, I guess that could happen. Maybe I'm spreading the idea, but I, I, it's such a small thing, but everybody's just so trusting with that, and it feels weird for me to not be trusting with that because I'm like, well, if somebody takes my fucking shoes, dude, I got some Vans, like why the fuck would I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't do that in the U.S. I feel like they'd be taken, but maybe I'm just being I don't know, paranoid or something. Anyway, going back to I guess where I was at with the New Year's thing and fireworks and stuff. Um, Everybody had like these huge buckets of fireworks that they spent like, the equivalent of like 100 American bucks on or more, and you light them off. And that's like the shit that we saw back home when you'd go to like some shitty park or parking lot or something like that, and you'd see them lighting off. So we had all those. Like I got to light one that was like incredible. And there's all these people all around the pier, like so Stockholm is right next to the huge body of water. I don't remember. I think it's the Baltic Sea. So there's multiple docks going out here, and everybody's full all over this whole thing. And apparently, it wasn't even as packed as it usually is. But because of Corona, some people weren't there, but shit ton of people were there. Everybody's lighting off these things, and the when it struck midnight, there was fireworks that went off constantly for at least another like 20 minutes. Like the finale was like 20 minutes long. I was mesmerized. It was so loud and cool, and I feel like I thrive in those types of environments. I miss going to live concerts, right? And I mean, I know there's a lot of things that we can't do right now for a reason because these, uh it's just the times that we're at. But there's something about the energy of being around people that are also excited, people that we can all share in this common thing, whether it's music or whether it's a light show or lighting off all like who doesn't like to light something on fire and see it blow up? Like it's so fun. Um, we all got to do this and had food and it was an awesome night. Actually, like one of the most memorable New Year's I've had. And so, fast forward a little bit, and I mean, I could go into like every single little thing I've done, but I've been trying really to eat clean. I've made some classic, what I feel like are classic American meals. I had them to eat real tacos, like Southwest style, like Mexican style tacos as best as I could. Um, because there's some things they do that's just like they don't even heat up the tortilla, like things like that. That was strange to me. So I got to show them that. I made chicken fajitas, which were bomb. I made like a classic American barbecue with wild boar meat instead, and then I made jalapeno poppers for them. Like I don't know. There's obviously tons of American dishes that I can do. I showed them that you can put cheese on almost anything and it makes it way better. So that's another thing. I'm helping spread our culture, to the world. Um, so I mean, other than those dishes, like I usually just continue to eat. I really feel like about 80% vegetarian. I still, making a lot of stir fries, making a lot of hashes, things like that. But um, I haven't gone out to eat all that much. I have tried a few different places. There's this vegan place in Stockholm I tried that was amazing. It was an all-you-can-eat buffet, which for those of you that know me, like that suits me really well. I paid like $10 in America and I ate plates of food, good food. Anyway, that was really fun. Moving on to January, I set this intention up, and I'm gonna do something with this. But for now, I'll just kind of tell you about what I've been doing. If it inspires you, feel free. But I have some plans a little bit later this month for, I guess, kind of setting intentions that I'm gonna do. But people were asking me here, like, what your New Year's resolution, what things like that, and I didn't post anything about this because I didn't know what I would really do. Um, but what I have been doing is every single day I've been journaling, which is not the whole thing. Journaling is a good thing for me. It helps me kind of remember and feel and gives me an outlet for writing in case there is something that comes up. But I've been journaling something that I can do for myself every single day, and then doing that thing. So I have my phone here, which I haven't looked at because I have text and stuff, but I'm gonna pull this up. So for instance, just to kind of show you guys, you know, what it looks like, I'm gonna pull my screen up for a second. So you can see like a list there, and obviously it keeps going and stuff. And this is just the list thing. I write more about these things, but sometimes I'm traveling, I'm on the train or whatever, and this is when I want to write it. But I um one of the cool things I did, so I did a few different things on January 3rd. I reorganized the room, right? And I got a new desk, and that's what I'm sitting at right now. And that's something that's positive for me. It's better for my posture, it's better for all these things, and I feel organized. Having a clean room helps me and mentally stay more organized, right? And then like a couple of days later, I went with the neighbor, and I talked about this in one of the things, and I took him and his two daughters to the local pool, right? An indoor pool that we could, I'm gonna put this back down. Indoor pool that we got to just like hang out at, and it was incredible. I've never got to play with little kids like that. Like where we spent the whole day. Usually it's just like I go to a party and there is a little kid, but I can pawn them off. But like this is partly my responsibility, and it was just cool to see this dude that I don't know that well trusting me, with his children and playing with them and connecting with them, even though there's kind of a language barrier, but everybody knows how to like swim and go down slides, and it was special. It was really special, and I didn't set that out for an intention. When I got home at the end of the night and I decided to do this list, I was like, 100% something that I did for myself today was that, right? And I try to challenge myself. So the first few, like in January and stuff like that, was like being physically active, going for runs, going to the gym. And by this point, it's something I'm doing on a daily basis. So I'm wanting to push that, and it could just stay there, right? There's been times in my life where like the best thing I could do for myself was just to make myself dinner, even if it was a frozen DiGiorno pizza. I'm not even bullshitting you with that. Like there was a time in my life where I couldn't even feed myself, and the fact that I could do that was a win for the day. And if you're in that spot, write that down, because dude, fuck, man, we're all in different spots. But just make sure that I would say that you keep looking forward, right? Um, for whatever your goal is, whatever it is. My main intention with this is that I want to see how many things I can do for myself this year, right? Things that might be out of my comfort zone, things that I don't know, things that push me to where I really want to be. There's a lot of different ways to say it. There's a ancient, Greek philosopher that pretty much said like, the purpose of life is to be happy. And the way to achieve that is to ask yourself what things need to be done to be happy, and then do those things. That is the key to being happy, right? And it's a step-by-step instruction, but we don't do these things. We like to live in dreams, we like to live in thoughts, we like to live in fear, we like to live in all these different places that aren't doing, right? Another way to say it is in AA, they would say AA is not for people who need it or want it, it's for people that do it, right? Anything's like that. If you listen to any successful people, they're talking about that. So I wanted to build my own. I don't even know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I want to know that I tried to do as many things for myself every single day this year. I don't want to. I don't want to have days go by where I just did nothing. And is there a time to rest? For sure, but in those days, like, I can say, you know what, today I want to go get a massage, or today is a day of rest, and I'm gonna make sure I stretch and enjoy, or maybe I'm gonna watch that documentary that I wanted to watch, or whatever, right? Like something that, because I'm just in that spot where I have this energy and I want to do these things. I want to I don't know. But I want to look back at the end of this year and say that there was like 360 things that I did, you know, every single day. I want to make each day a new experience. I want to be present for each and every day. Um, that's something that means a lot to me right now. I can tell you that for the last couple years, I've been practicing being present, and I feel like these last couple years have been the best of my life. Period. Um, because I'm here for every single moment, good, bad, whatever, but I'm here. I'm not checked out. I'm not waiting for the next thing to happen. I'm enjoying the day. And no matter where you're at, I think that's possible. For when I was working shit jobs, it was trying to find the one customer I could connect with that day, right? Um or if you're in sickness and stuff, maybe it's just like, I don't know, being able to hold down food, or it can be really anything. So if that resonates with you, go for it. I'm not going to tell you to do that. I want to have more stuff with it, but something I'm going to do a little bit later is in regards to setting intentions every day, and that's something that I do. This was just a fun thing that I'm doing for my New Year's, and right now I think I've missed 2 days of it. Because sometimes I get caught up and I don't remember to do this thing, but pretty much since the second week of January, I have been on point with it, and I feel happy about it. I look forward to saying like, dude, I like the days where I have multiple things that I did, you know, and I write them down. Who says I only need to have one? Like, fuck it, there's no one's grading this assignment. This is literally just for me, and I do this because it also helps me, pay attention to what's important to me. You know, I'm learning more about myself each and every day. I'm learning what I want and things that I don't want, and those are both equally important in my opinion. Um, I'm learning the people that I like to be around, the people that I miss. You know, there's a lot. There's been periods during this time, right? That it's not all what rainbows and unicorns and blowjobs or whatever, right? It's been, I mean, there's been a lot of joy that I've had. And there's been a lot of adventures and stuff like that, but there's been some hard days in this room, you know? And so I'll share a little bit about that. Like there's been periods of like homesickness, right? Periods like where I just want to connect to people that already like kind of know me, people that whose first language was English, right? Not that, I mean, I can talk, just like, I don't know, people that people I care about, you know? And I've had the chance to, but sometimes I'm like, well, it's not good enough that I can only video chat, or I can only call them, or I have to stay up super late because I'm 8 hours ahead. So when it's midnight here and I'm usually going to bed, that's when people are just getting off work, right? And I can play the victim on those things, and I can say, well, I can't, I don't know. And there's days that I did, and there's days that I was just like, dude, fuck, man, what am I even doing here, right? The imposter syndrome kicks in. I get these people that text me like, dude, I can't believe you're there, and blah blah blah. I'm like, I feel like I could be feeling this shitty anywhere, right? It feels the same. Laying in bed, not in a good place, feels the same anywhere, right? You could have snow outside or not. By the way, it snowed nonstop. I think I already said that since Christmas. So every single morning I look out, there is snow, and which is amazing. I can't believe that that's my life right now. But when I'm depressed and I look out, I'm like, oh, there's still fucking snow, right? It's the whole thing of like, oh, birds chirping is so amazing, and then depending on where you're at, you're like, these fucking birds always wake me up, right? Um, a mentor, a wise friend that I had, um, would always tell me that it's never too late to start my day over, right? And so through this this journaling and the people that I have around me and the people that I have back home that love me, and my parents, and I have support, right? But homesickness is only like one aspect of it. I'm also still riding that grief train. Um, there was I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to really put it because it doesn't feel like words really do it justice. But I think about Maria every day, right? And some days it's like I miss you, and that's okay. And some days it's like fuck me, dude. Like I don't want to do today, right? I want to go look outside and see the moon, right? Um, because that reminds me of her in a small way, right? But then there's clouds, and so there's never not clouds here. By the way, never thought that I would miss the sun so much. I thought I had enough sunlight for the last 30 years. Holy shit, dude, I miss the fucking sun. There's clouds all the time. I love clouds, don't get me wrong, but the clouds kind of, I don't know, they block you from things, right? There's this veil. And I had a friend that put a wise spin on it. He said, like, even if there's clouds, you know that it's still there, right? You know that she's still there. And even if you can't see her. And it was such a simple thing, right? And sometimes that's all you need is just somebody to say that. So when I look out, even if I can't see the moon, I still say La Luna, right? Um, I, the difficult time was, I mean, there's been multiple ones, and it comes up, and sometimes I've cried, and sometimes I haven't. On the first of this month was 9 months since she passed away, and I wrote a poem about it, and I don't think I'm gonna share it. Not that I wouldn't, not that I have anything to hide, but I don't know. I wrote about it, and things came up like what could have changed in 9 months, right? Um, how different could this life be, right? And how much this life has changed in just the last 9 months. If you can think about where you were May 1st, you know, um, I was working from home, getting a phone call from, my love's mom telling me that she passed away, right? And starting a moment of hysteria and not knowing what the fuck, what I was doing with my life. Those are the biggest questions that came after that, right? And so I decided to answer that question. Like, if that's what keeps coming up, whatever question keeps coming up that you keep ignoring, like maybe look at that one. What am I doing? Where am I going? What is this thing? And I've had those things before, but this time I was dedicated to answering that. Is this the thing that I want to be doing? No? Okay, well then I better be doing something different or trying to go in a different direction because there's no fucking way I want to keep going that direction. And so here, right? I mean, I could stay on the topic of grief. I could go into that for a whole thing, but writing helps me. Writing's helped me a lot. And talking to people that knew her helps a lot, right? That's one thing. These people, I can tell them anything I want about her, and they can tell me, that she was beautiful, that they understand, and I know that they do. I mean, I know that everybody on a genuine human level does, but there's something about, um, I don't know, a different connection. So that's another struggle, right? So homesickness and grief, um, and just culture shock too, you know? I did have a friend joke. Do you guys remember the Capitol Hill storming thing? I had texted a friend that day. I didn't know that I haven't kept up with any fucking American politics other than what sometimes gets thrown on my Instagram feed. Um, I texted my friend Chris back home and I was like, "Yo, dude, feeling kind of homesick." And this dude, he lived in South America for 2 years, so I respected his opinion and his experience and stuff. And he's like, "Dude, just turn on the news. I promise you won't miss living here." And so I looked up news in America and it was like people are storming Capitol Hill right now. I was like, "What the fuck?" Um, so that was interesting too, right? I noticed that because of that too. So I've gotten rid of a lot of these addictions, and I think sometimes I don't know, even like the people here, they're like, "Oh the fuck, like what else do you have to give up?" And we came up with this sort of wager that we all wanted to kind of give something up. One dude gave up playing video games. One dude gave up alcohol and soda, since those were kind of vices, and I wanted in on it. And they were like, "Okay, well, you can't eat any more snacks, like no more chips, no more cookies, and shit." And I hadn't realized that that was becoming my new like coping mechanism since I was here. They don't have like all the same American treats. Obviously, they have a ton of different things, but they had Oreos at the little market that's like walking distance from here. And I was like, shit, get a pack of Oreos. And I didn't even realize until they pointed out I was getting like a whole package of Oreos every single night. Um, because it felt like home, right? I remember having cookies and milk with my mom and stuff. So that was like oh, I'm sad because I'm in a different country and everything's unfamiliar and I don't know where the fuck I'm going in my life, and and I'm grieving and all these different things, and like I can eat cookies and milk and be okay at least for the minute. So that was different. So I haven't been doing that, and that's been a net positive, right? Obviously I know it's going to be there, but I don't want to just like cover up what I'm feeling. I'm a firm believer in facing these things. I think there's a lot of it's uncomfortable as fuck, dude. Like I don't want to fucking tell people this shit. Like even though it's kind of funny, and I don't take myself too seriously. I don't think there's anything to take too seriously. We're all humans. Um, but this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm struggling with, and it's obvious to the people around me, and I'm happy that I have people that can pay attention and give a shit. To say like, "Oh, you want in on this? Okay, why don't you do the thing that's actually challenging?" So I've been sitting here at night and I'm like, "Holy shit, I actually do get the munchies and shit." And I do I do want to eat some fucking Oreos. And I could, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but instead I'd rather make a video like this, and I'd rather journal, and I'd rather, I don't know, try to do something different, or like maybe make more healthy stuff in the daytime so I don't feel so hungry at night, or adjust my sleep schedule, adjust my eating schedule. Like there's so many different things that I've been trying to do. And yeah. So that's been a whole other thing. I guess I swam in a lake, or I don't even really want to say swim. I went into an ice lake below freezing temperatures and hung out there. My goal was to stay in for 1 minute, and I stayed in there almost 3 minutes, like 2 minutes 45 seconds or something. That video's on TikTok too. Um, but that was an incredible experience to go out there. I always wanted to, and I did it in a speedo because that's what I fucking do. I always wanted to do that. Like in my life, I forgot this, right? I always pictured me going out there with like a dozen other like super old men, polar bear shit. Instead, I went with the 22-year-old that lives here who was like, "Yeah, dude, I want to fucking go too." So we both go out there and we go into this fucking lake, and our friend was filming us and shit. It was such a positive experience. I would do it again, 100%. But that's something that I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to go like, was it like in wherever penguins are? Are penguins in Antarctica or the Arctic? You can let me know. Wherever the fuck, I always pictured that, and like actually being like a real polar bear. But this will do. This will do for first time. Um, I did that. I've eaten some incredible meals. I've met some amazing people. I hope to have a couple more of those people on the podcast. Um, let's see. Finishing up, I did apply. I did put in all the paperwork and stuff to stay in this country longer because I wasn't able to apply for a visa before I got here because of COVID. None of the paperwork and stuff was going through. So I did what I could once I was here to apply for an extension and then hopefully get a visa in the meantime, or maybe I might have to go back stateside for a month or two and file the proper paperwork from my home country, then to stay here, in a more permanent fashion. Um, so I applied for all that stuff and I actually just got a letter yesterday saying that they received my paperwork, so that's good, right? But it's very uncertain. I don't know where I'll be in a month. Hopefully all the COVID vaccine and stuff is a positive thing, and hopefully things can start to open up because I have other friends in different parts of Europe that I would love to go visit and stay with and continue this journey. Um, but if not, that's fine too. You know, I don't again not married to any of my expectations. I like terming it like that because I'm committed, but I'm not. It's not set in stone, right? So if I end up back stateside, that's fine. Like more, the journey's not over ever. Um, and that just means that's where I'm supposed to be. I kind of I know that I'm putting in the footwork, and I know that because I feel it every day. I'm connecting with people in a way that reminds me what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? It reminds me that there is good everywhere. There is good in all these people, and I get to bring positivity to people. I get to bring these things and I get to learn from all these people. And that's all I wanted, right? I'm not here to I don't know, I guess that's what I feel like I'm here to do, right? I'm hoping that I share something that resonates with you. If there's stuff that doesn't, just leave that shit down, right? But there's something that spoke to you. Take it, do something with it today. Don't say, "Oh, well later I'll do this thing." Like if you feel like going for a run, fucking go for a run. There's no better time. Literally no better time than right now, right? If you feel like, "Oh, maybe I'll meditate or maybe I'll write." Go write. Don't wait, I used to tell that shit to people in AA and they're like, "Man, I really haven't been, praying and meditating like I should have." I'm like, "Well, you want to do it right now?" And they're like what? I'm like, "Yeah, we can go sit right there on that curb, dude, and fucking sit for a second." And they're like, they don't have an excuse, so they have to do it. And then there they go, they did it, right? And then they can do it again when they get home. I always tell them, you can do it again when you get home. You can get it when you're up. Like, there's no better time. Um, when I got here, I got offered, like, "Hey, do you want to go run in the forest?" I was like, "What the fuck? Okay, sure," right? I try to say yes to these things. If I don't have a good reason to say no, I'm trying to say yes. So, however things work out, it's gonna be okay, man. And I'm actually okay with that. I'm not feeling scared about that. Um, and I've been doing a lot of work lately on all those things that I told you I was struggling with, and I can't say that today I'm struggling today, right? But it's always there. There's always things that we're dealing with, right? There's always decisions. There's always things, obstacles in our path, but we can always get through. And it might not look how we want it to, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be beautiful, right? Enough that shit from me. I'm feeling good about what I had to say, and I know it's not a full interview. We'll be having more of those, and also please stay tuned for more. I'm gonna have a like kind of a challenge or like an instructional thing to do for you to do over the course of a month that I'm working on right now. I will have more details on that if you follow on the Instagram. I try to do more posting there. Um, Other than that, it's been an amazing night here. I love all of you guys, whoever's watching, whoever's not watching or listening or whatever. You are uh, amazing, and just remember that wherever you're going, whatever direction it is the right direction. Like whether it's up or down or any way, you're going the right way.